Hey guys, so it's super hot. I am out in the garden and it is growing fabulously. So I just wanted to do another garden tour to show you guys what's growing and what's changed this week. Things are growing so fast now because it's getting warm. So things are going to be changing pretty quickly. So if this is your first time here, hi, I'm Kiri, and I'm just a city girl who wishes she was a country girl who's currently living in the burbs. And on this channel we talk about all things micro homesteading, growing indoors hydroponically, and growing outdoors in the garden. So if that is your thing, or if you would like that to be your thing, then go ahead and hit subscribe and the notification bell so you will know when I post videos in the future. And now it's time for the weekly garden tour. Still have some seedlings sitting here. Most of them are flowers. I have some morning glories, actually lots of morning glories, a couple of hollyhocks, a little bit of celery, a lupin I have to find a home for, some Canterbury bells, and here we have a bunch of tomatoes. So this is a potato leaf variety. It's a pink brandywine. This one is a Brad's Crazy Cherry, which is a multiflora. There's a lot of flowers on there. Apparently these can have like, I don't know, it looks like 50 or 60 flowers. So we'll see how this one does. I've never grown it before. I just got it in a trade, but we shall see. This one is a Paul Robeson. Also never grown this one before, but apparently it is supposed to be one of the best tomatoes. So kind of figured I needed to try that. Here I'm trying to grow a little bit more asparagus, so got a couple of these guys just waiting until I clean out the asparagus patch because it's a disaster. A Napa cherry tomato. Over here we have a Black Beauty, a spoon tomato, which is really tiny. We have my Brad's Atomic and a Lucky Tiger, and then here we have a Calibos cabbage. Just love the purple veining on this. Never grown this one before, but it doesn't grow round. It actually grows up to kind of like a point. So really excited to try that one. Currants are still looking amazing. There are so many on here. I can't wait to use some of these to make some wine. Not many gooseberries. There's a little gooseberry. I don't even eat gooseberries. I just grew this for my mom. Blackberries. Not many, not too many on this one. I have one that got transplanted into the front yard by mistake, so there's a couple more on that one. I had the horseradish here. I actually ended up moving it over there because it had grown into the ground. One thing about horseradish is you really do not want to plant it in the ground because it is extremely invasive. I thought I got around this by planting it into a pot, but a pot has to have drainage holes. And the bloody horseradish grew through the drainage holes, which I thought I got because I moved it in the spring and there was a bit of a root in there. So I dug it out. Well, I thought I dug it out. And then all of a sudden I'm over here and I see all this horseradish growing everywhere. So I'm frantically trying to dig it up. I don't even know if I got it all, but definitely do not plant it in the ground. And now I have it on some concrete blocks. So we shall see. The leaves on this sage are massive and they're such pretty flowers. The raspberry patch is still a disaster. It's getting pretty old now, so I do need to get in there and tidy it up. But at this point, I'm just gonna let the harvest come in, get what I can, and then clean it up because we do have some raspberries already forming. And some of them, this guy actually is a nice burly stem, so definitely leave him in. But that's the asparagus, and I keep not being able to find it because the raspberries have moved over so much I can't get to it. So I'm trying to clear my way over there so I can get in and actually harvest some asparagus. But if it goes to fern, it's not horrible because it'll just help strengthen the roots. Then we have here my peas. These are just some sugar snaps. But over here we have my absolute favorite sugar snaps now. These are the Magnolia Tendril sugar snaps, and they are I believe the first purple one. Regardless, they just taste delicious. Here, let me get one out. All right. Just want to show you guys how they look. They're pretty cool. So they're purple on the outside, and then they're green in the inside, and they're just delicious. And on top of that, that's a munching way. The flowers are beautiful. They have this little purple veining on the white petal. So I'll grow these every year. I love the tendrils that they give off. They just make me happy for some reason. So, and they can grow, I think, 8 feet tall. So they're making their way up the arbor. But I will definitely, these will be my go-to sugar snaps from now on. I have my row of tomatoes here. This is the Sunrise Bumblebee. Currently the favorite cherry, but there's a lot of new cherries that I have in the garden this year, so we'll see. This is the Purple Bumblebee. I haven't grown this one before. I actually got it in a trade, so we'll see how that compares to the Sunrise Bumblebee. And the only one I don't have is the Pink Bumblebee, but I think we'll try that next year. This one is an orange peach tomato. The tomato's actually supposed to be a bit fuzzy and have a peachy flavor, but I've never grown it before, so we will have to see. This one is my pineapple tomato. And over here, this is my first time growing the Dr. White cheese. So that's supposed to be another good one. I wanted to show you guys, oh here, this one got away from me. So because the tomatoes are starting to grow, it's time that you need to be going in and getting your suckers. So wherever you have the main stem and an offshoot, you're going to get one of these. This is a sucker, and you can just pluck it off, grow into it, have a mind of its own, and start producing tomatoes. But it also stresses out the plant and takes it away from focusing on the main production. So a lot of people will pick these off. I do. Sometimes they'll get away from you. I've got a pretty big one here. You can still snap it off. But you can actually take this, pop it in water. It will root and give you a whole new plant. So because this one's pretty big, I'm probably going to go ahead and do that and just root it. So that's all you need, just some water. It'll start rooting soon. I'll put it on the table so I don't lose track of it. And then that will become a whole new pineapple tomato. I'm trying to grow an artichoke for the first time. It's not looking great, but we'll see how it does. Probably should have started it sooner, but I have one of my zucchinis here. This one, I believe, is the costata. I have just a regular black beauty here. The Battle Royale pit is doing fantastic. Chives, oregano, mojito mint, and some lemon balm in here too. And they're all very invasive, so I just stuff them in a giant pot. Down here, I have a blot pepper from Russia. And then here, we had, this is the remnants of my pineapple ground cherries. They did not survive the frost. Now, I did plant some new ones. I see these two, this and here. I'm hoping that's them. We'll have to see. I did put 4 seeds in, so they could be weeds, but we'll see what happens. I lost my koji nut squash from row 7 seeds, so I planted another one. I have nasturtiums everywhere, and my neighbor gave me 2 regular ground cherries, so they're here. With ground cherries, because they're related to tomatillos, essentially you need to have 2 for them to produce, so you can't just have 1. So I have this one here, which is a tetra squash from row 7 seeds, which is a type of delicata. And then over there we have a buttercup squash. First time growing those. Another potato leaf brandywine. This is the black brandywine, one of my giant sunflowers. It's a blacktail watermelon. And we have a sugar pumpkin and some of the pink celery, which I use pink celery, which just looks so pretty. Sweet dumpling squash. Some of these might be a bit close, but you know what? Got a little over enthusiastic. A couple of extra tomatoes. the blackberry sage, some Utah tall celery. This one is a red curry squash. The other two are actually over here. So I'm gonna try and grow these two. There's this one and that one. I'm gonna try and grow them up the cattle panels to see how they do vertically, and then I have the one behind me as a control to see if it grows better on the ground. Got some pole beans here, lettuce, the green very sage tomato, a little bit of basil, another pineapple. This was one I actually did from another cloning, so I had a sucker that got away from me and I've turned it into a whole new plant, so it does work really well. A couple of cucumbers in there. I had 2 of the China jade and I lost them in the frost, and then I may have overplanted again, but we'll see how they do. Patty pan, another giant sunflower, some white scallop squash. Over here, another one of the variegated nasturtiums. This is a moringa pumpkin. And then here we have some golden midget watermelons. I think that's what it was called. It's a yellow watermelon. And then my favorite Sharon Taste melon, which all of these will hopefully grow up this cattle panel. So given that I don't have a lot of space, I have to get creative, but I mean, that's part of the fun of having a micro homestead. It's figuring out how much you can grow in the space that you have. And so I decided to grow up and put in these cattle panel trellises. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but yeah, it's a bit of a shit show, but that's all right. I'll put the link up above that shows you how we install these, but I'm so excited. Yay! These things are gonna look so sick when there's all the pole beans covering them and the melons. It'll be really cool, especially because on this side I have the noodle beans and they can grow to like 18 inches long. Be quiet, crow. But so the noodle beans grow and they're like 18 inches long, plus we'll have the red curry squash and the tramontini squash coming down. So this one's going to be a little crazy. I think the one behind me will be a little bit more reserved. It'll have hopefully just the small watermelons on it, and the what else is over there? The Kajari melons, the watermelons, Sharon Taste melons. So this will be the savory arch, and that one over there will be the sweet arch, or that is the plan. We'll see how it works out. So if you have cattle panel trellis, can't even say it. So if you have arched cattle panel trellises and you've grown on them, let me know down in the comments below what you've grown, how it worked, because this is my first year, so I have no idea how it's gonna go, but I'm pretty excited. So we have a center cut squash from row 7 seeds, which is a combination or a cross between a tromboncino and a zucchini, so I'm excited to see how that goes. These are some of the Chinese red noodle beans, which can grow like 18 inches long, so I'm super excited to see those. And then here, these are my cucamelons. There was 2 seeds here, and they're starting to go absolutely everywhere. So yeah, you don't need many of these guys apparently, but we'll see how they do. I can't wait till I have some actual little cucamelons. My Kajari melon, I'm so excited. It's starting to grow up the trellis and it is doing well. I have been wanting to grow these for years but can never get seeds. So I managed to get a couple in a trade and so far so good. Some rich sweetness melons, and there's one sugar baby in the corner. These are some of the midnight Romas from row 7 seeds. So I'm super excited about that. This whole row is Romas. So I have 2 of the midnight Romas and 2 of the San Marzano. Here we have some volunteer tomatoes. I really need to thin those out. Pretty sure it is the blueberry cream from Baker Creek, but I don't remember. You want the tomatoes? You do love eating tomatoes, don't you, Bacon? And they're your favorite, they're cherry tomatoes. This sad mess here is the remnants of my beets after they got taken care of for the most part by some leaf miners. Got one lot there that's still hanging on. Oh yeah, there we go. See? Leaf miner eggs. I gotta get those off. I'll come back out and do that afterwards. But yeah, so definitely not gonna plant beets for the spring. I'm probably gonna try planting them again for the fall and then see if they do a little bit better. Oh, this butterfly. Did I get it? The same issue with the spinach with the leaf miner, so I'll try those again later. My onions are still doing great. Something happened here. Could have been bacon, could have been a bunny, but there were some other onions there, but they're not there anymore. Let us have the phosphorus, I can't say it means speckled trout, and some Paris Island cause, and then I'm pretty sure this one was the rouge d'hiver, and some butter crunch over there. So here is my garlic, and I'm so happy. I have some scapes. They always look like swans next to me, but it'll be about another 2 weeks to a month after the scapes start to show that they're ready to harvest. And these are great, you can eat these. So probably what I'll do is I'll wait till there's a couple more, cut them off, chop them up, and do some garlic mashed potatoes. Here's, this is the mushroom basket, the orange accordion, and the Paul Robeson. And then we have a little bit of basil. These are some lettuce leaf basil, some Genovese lime basil, sweet Thai basil, some purple basil, and the teeny tiny ones over there are actually the holy basil. There's the offending horseradish on some broken patio stones now, so hopefully that'll keep it under control. There's always a crow on the cross making noise when I'm trying to do these. Potatoes are actually doing really well. The flowers are starting to show, so be a couple more weeks and then these should be ready to harvest, and then I'm pretty sure I'll put some carrots here afterwards. Speaking of carrots, these are some that I overwintered and they're just going to seed. I also have the parsnip over there that's going to seed. I'm going to be doing a separate video on that, but yeah, this was just an experiment. Some more onions and my sad peppers. These guys did not do well out here. I don't know what it is. They did not like it. Some of my bush beans, a green zebra tomato, and then over in this mess we have a whole bunch of blueberries. I actually added 3 new bushes, so these 2 here are Perpetua, and they are supposed to give you 2 harvests in the season, so I'm pretty excited about that. Or 2 harvests a year, so 1 in the summer and then 1 again in the fall. And then over here, this is the jelly bean blueberry, which is supposed to taste like blueberry jam, so we shall see. I have a little bit of Cosmo in here. I put in some blue borage. Some of the sunflowers are at the back. And then I actually can see here, I started to clear my way in. I put in white borage in there too. So I will make my way over to the asparagus eventually. Okay, it's super hot, so the air conditioner has kicked in again, but the wee baby grapes are coming along, so that is exciting. It's been like 3 years and I'm finally getting some grapes. So let's go look down the side. Rhubarb. These grapes are newer, so they're just getting established. I won't have any grapes from here for a while. More mint. Some strawberries. I actually have a few that are getting ready. I actually plucked one yesterday. There's another one that's starting to ripen. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on these before the critters get them. But so far so good. This one's got so many. I have a couple hollyhocks out front. They're either gonna be the black hollyhocks or the queen pink one. We'll have to see. I have some flowers on my little alpine strawberries. They're doing pretty good. And then we have the pine berries. So total count was 6 of the 8 made it, which isn't bad. So got those. Can't wait, hopefully get some fruit off of them. More sage. And way more blackberries out here than in the back. I think they just like it here better. I have a weed, get rid of that, and Granny Cantrell tomato. I don't usually do tomatoes up front, but this was an extra, so I stuffed it in. More of the chives, which grow everywhere out here, and I'm so happy. I just saw a bunch of my lavender has come back. Just smells amazing. And then the peppers are doing great out here. I've already got, just looking, I have my first pepperoncinis. I think that's the only one that has actual fruit on it. Got some dwarf tomatoes at back, but they are definitely doing much better out here than they were doing, than the other ones are doing in the back. So I'll go see what's going on hydroponically. So I've still got the fennel, my little tomatoes in here. I moved a dragon tongue bean in. There's a little bit of cilantro back there. The stevia has gone everywhere. I'm actually hoping it was going to go to seed, which is the only reason it's still there. And guys, cucumber. It was over there in the back. I just got this bad boy off of it this morning, and then I actually took it out of here because it was looking a little sad. Ideally, you're not supposed to grow the cucumber in the personal rise garden, but you know, I like to push boundaries. I actually moved it out there in with my loofah and it's looking very, very unhappy, but we'll see if it comes back. So I'm inside. I am in my new office and plant room. I have a bunch of work I need to do in here. The large rise garden is going to go over there. I need to finish washing the walls and mud them and sand them and then get some paint on the walls and then start redesigning this room, which I love doing, so that's exciting. But the plants are in here, so I'll show you what's going on with them. So we have the 2 sprouts for the root trimming video. They are doing very good. Lots of flowers. This is the same orange hat tomato that I have downstairs in the personal rise garden. Look at all those flowers getting ready to form on the pepper. Those are a mini bell pepper, so I'm super excited for those. Have my monstera and some more things in my nursery from my rise garden, which then got really big, and yeah, they're just sitting there. And then over here we have my ginger, which is doing good. Lots of new shoots coming up and some other volunteers in there. Take those guys out. One day I'm hoping it'll actually flower. The flowers on the ginger are supposed to be really pretty. But I guess we might as well go down to the basement and see what's going on down there. Okay, so I started a bunch of the things for my fall garden. I have some more of that white borage. I have some zinnias. I have the hyssop. I have a whole bunch of brassicas in there. So I have some kale, some cabbage, some Brussels sprouts, some broccoli. I also have some calendula and a whole bunch of flowers and stuff that I haven't grown before, and these are some extra peppers that I gotta get outside. So these guys are all just getting ready. I have these little diagrams everywhere to remind me what I planted where. So that's where we're starting for the fall garden, and just some flowers. And then we have the arrow garden. It is all cleaned and set up and ready to get growing again. There's no water in it right now, so it's just I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna grow in here, and then we'll get that going again. So that's it for this week's garden tour. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up because YouTube loves that and it helps me reach more people. And until next time, don't forget to go out there and enjoy the little things and make food grow.